All right, good evening. We're going to call the meeting to order, and we apparently do not have a quorum. So we will just go over some of the points from the last meeting on the agenda and then hopefully approve everything once we do get a quorum. So we're not going to approve the minutes, so if you would like to just look them over and again make comments, Bonnie has pointed a couple of things out. We will revisit those in January. Treasurer's report is quite simple. If you take a look, Charlene is not available today. She told me she won't be here. So yeah, so we have our balance. Our ending balance as of December 12th was $21,551.71, with one disbursement for November and December for the Jazz Festival. Okay, so we're not going to be able to approve that either. All right, well, yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to go really quickly here because not everyone's here. So on the grant request document, if you remember the last time we were here, we tried out the rubric sheet that I set up. And if you take a look, I revised it a little bit to try to clarify it. So people had questions, and it was nice because some people wrote actually on the bottom like what their questions were and things like that. So I tried to clean it up a little bit. I took away a lot of the boxes, you know, from the blank spaces. But if you read the top, it says, I want everyone to pick out which of these allowed, you know, purposes for our, you know, finances do you think the grant which comes up in front of us, you know, which one of these match? And I tried to make it so that it does, maybe it might not match perfectly, or if it does match perfectly, or if it doesn't match at all. So you had to find something that, or maybe I shouldn't say it does not match at all, but like, I don't know, if we have an event coming up, somebody asked me for a sign outside their business. So that does not meet any of these. So they would get a 0 score from me because, you know, our duty is to make sure we follow the guidelines on funding. So, and if you think, you know, if it's an educational scholarship and you're not quite sure, you could put a 2 down instead of a 4, or if you say that, yeah, this is perfectly exactly what we, you know, have money for, you put a 4. And all I do is I average out all of the commissioners that are here. It's got to be a quorum to start, but if there's a quorum, I'll average it out. And if I get an average score of greater than 3, you know, then I say, you know, we approve. And the last time it was, I mean, I have the papers here, I could take a look. So I averaged it out. So if some people feel a little hesitant and some people feel, you know, for it, it'll come out, you know, more than 3. It has to be, you know, some people have to think it's better than others. Now, if people are picking things from all over, that means it doesn't really match, right? Like if some commissioners say, oh, this is number 2, and some commissioners say it's, you know, 5C, that doesn't really, that means we need to discuss it some more, right? They don't see it as...
Oh, do you mean we only choose one of these?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Right, but I'm saying maybe that's not the right way to do it. Maybe we need to pick more than one. But then, you know, then the numeric version of it kind of gets messed up. You know what I'm saying?
But sometimes it does meet
more than one.
Meet more than one. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I would just, when you go to look at these, I would just make sure that, as you said, majority of points need to be from the same item number. So, yes.
Okay.
Bonnie might realize that something could go towards parks and playgrounds as well as community center. So she marks both of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what I could do is just average the commissioner's score. Do you know what I'm saying? And then average, you know, like this is your average. Your number is 3, whereas other people's number might be 4.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that, like, I would have a commissioner score and then I would have an average score. The reason I want to do this, I want to be as you know, objective as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I would like to do it when the people come ask for money, that we can give them an answer pretty quickly. Do you know what I'm saying? So that they don't have to wait. But it, you know,
or feedback on like why we didn't approve.
Well, yeah, once we, even if it's the next time, if we send out an email saying, well, you know, we felt that, like that lady with the sign, I kind of told her right away, like, if you look at these things, the sign, like, doesn't really fit anything. Although we have some pretty interesting things in here, because, like, hospitals, like, that seems really odd, but
That's in the ordinance.
yes, I know.
Yeah.
I think it's the same for a lot of the commissions. They
Yeah.
just kind of
Mhm.
boilerplate
Yeah.
copied it.
Well, transportation.
Yeah,
that's
so I
kinda
guess
nice.
if the airport shuttle's not working, I guess we can fund it for, for something if we want
Do
to.
you need to
We're not
maybe modify
Yeah.
some of the things that the ordinance says as far as what the requirements are, or what you guys would be willing to give money for? If it's not fitting the way you want to do it, like if you think that hospitals isn't something that's necessary, and a lot of times they do copy and paste.
Oh yeah,
you
this
know,
seems to be the same for like several other commissions. You know what I'm saying? They just
Yeah.
had this thing. And yeah, it might not perfectly match us, but I mean, we always do educational scholarships, grants for like cultural things. You know, there's a lot of things that fit us, but you know, some of those things, I mean, we're not going to strike them out. I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of weird thing that's going to happen in the
maybe you
future.
can just add other, add the word other, and then.
Oh, I don't
something's
know.
gonna fall
Do you
into
think
those
that would go with
categories.
that? Because then it's up to our discretion totally.
Yeah. I just find hospitals, I mean, hospitals and airports, that stuff sounds like,
But it doesn't hurt us to have
Yes.
it there, you know.
Correct.
Yeah,
even though
we're
we'll
not,
never
people are not going to be
use
coming
it,
up to us to
you
do
know.
that.
I
Yeah.
don't think the hospital's coming into
Yeah, I'm just worried that when we spend the money, it's for something that we're allowed to spend it for. I don't care if there's extra
Yeah,
things on there. It doesn't.
several years ago, I guess 3 years ago, when I first started, I don't think we had educational scholarships on there, and all of a sudden they started denying almost everything we were doing. So I think that's when we got that in there, because there's no citation to an Indiana code for that one, so maybe we had added that later. But
Yeah, I just literally
Yeah.
pasted this from like, you know, our
Yeah.
ordinance.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
when we got funding, you know, it was the second ordinance or whatever, when we finally got some money. Anyway, so I don't know, what is some feedback on that? Do you think you just pick more than one if you feel like it's two? Or do you just find the best one?
Oh,
So-
I think we could do 2 if we need to, and then just average
Write
out
it.
for each
Yeah, and write in the
commissioner.
comments. I mean, like, if there's any kind of question,
Yeah.
write it in the comments, because
Mhm.
like, then I can kind of
Yeah.
know what people are
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, I mean, someone could write too if, like, say, a community center is educating the public, it covers 2 spots.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, so is this form okay to use, you think? I mean, should we, going
Looks
forward,
good.
kind of use it and kind
Looks
of
good.
And like to say, feedback,
Yeah.
let's just fix it if we don't like the way things are going. But
And
I
it
thought it was
reminds
okay.
us exactly of what's in the ordinance too, what is allowed.
Correct, because I thought
So to have
that started making, like last year, I kind of thought a couple of times, well, does this really fit? And then,
Mhm.
this is right in front of you, like
Yes.
it's right from
Yeah.
the ordinance, and
Yep.
and there it is.
Yeah, that was really good.
Okay, good. So we'll just kind of let this go into the future here if we can. Old business. So Bonnie, you're gonna tell us a little bit about, well, a lot
suffrage.
probably, about what's happening
Oh,
next
you
year
know
for women's
me.
suffrage.
If I can find it.
It's a
now.
big year next year,
No,
so.
I think I lost it. Okay, here it is. I only have three categories that I'm going to talk about in this subject.
Today.
The first one is save the dates, and the dates that you need to put on your calendar. Saturday, March 7th, that's the Barker Mansion Wild Women and Wine fundraiser, which we are going to co-host, and then we're going to share the proceeds with them. It's from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and all of the commissioners are needed there, if at all possible, because we have to help with some kind of setup, and I don't know exactly what we're gonna do, but we have to do something to earn our money. So, and then on Thursday, the following Thursday, March 12th, also at Barker Mansion, it's their Women's History Tour and a kickoff, because they're going to have a women's history exhibit for the whole year. And then they're going to have a speaker too. Again, we're going to co-host and share the proceeds. And we're going to talk about the commission too.
What was the time for that one?
That one is from 6 to 8 p.m. That's on a Thursday evening. And then the final date is Saturday, March 21st. these are all during Women's History Month. And that at 1 o'clock that day, there's going to be a speaker at Michigan City Public Library. It's co-hosted by us and the League of Women Voters and the library. And we're going to help promote, and advertise it and attend, and we're going to provide handouts and information about our commission. The speaker is named Janine Giordano Drake, and she's a professor at IU, and she's going to talk about the additional issues that Hoosier suffragists were involved in. Because all over the country they were involved in other issues quite often. In our case, it was labor movement fed into suffrage. So I think that's what she'll be talking about.
Please tell me that date again. March
21st. It's a Saturday.
Okay.
And the library got applied for and received a grant to pay her expenses. And the League of Women Voters is going to bring refreshments for the presentation, and we're going to have some handouts, bookmarks or something to hand out.
Right, you mentioned you had those items,
Yeah.
right?
So those are the save the dates. Well, I think I should mention right now then the promotional merchandise, although we won't be deciding anything today anyway, but I found bookmarks. There are some bookmarks with the history of Women's Equality Day written on them. They would be 50 of them for $12. There's some others that say Celebrate Women bookmarks. Those are 50 for $6. And there are some Votes for Women balloons, 50 for $30. And that's pretty much what we were interested in last month anyway, about giving away. But then I also found Votes for Women buttons. It's copies of actual historical buttons that were used. They're four buttons for $11, so that's a whole lot more expensive, but it would be a really nice giveaway if we think we can afford that. And now that we're doing the events,
Or have them for
on
sale. Maybe
Sundays,
those
too.
people would buy.
Ooh, that's true too. Can we do that for the city? I mean, since we're part of the city, can we sell
Fundraise? Yes.
things?
Yeah.
Sell things? Okay.
Well, I mean, just
Well,
like when we have our
yeah,
party, I mean,
yeah.
we fundraise, so.
Yeah.
So I think maybe let's consider the more expensive, like give some giveaways, but like that would be something that's kind of classic old, style
Mm-hmm.
buttons.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a couple of those. They look really cool.
And there's another item, I don't have it on this list, but it's a Susan B. Anthony stamp necklace. It's a necklace with a copy of the stamp with her picture on it. And those are only $10, which I think is a very good price. And
And with a little bit of markup, we can make some money. So yeah.
yeah. So, well, there are a ton of things like that if we're going to spend a little bit more, and I could bring more information.
Why don't we think about like having maybe a little table to sell some of these things?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah. And then I also thought that we should have, it doesn't have to be along with this, but I thought that we should have some promotional items just to promote the Women's Commission. And I got prices on ink pens, and I got reusable grocery tote bags. And those would be about, 75 of them would be like $137 for the
the tote
least
bag.
expensive ones I found. And then the ink pens would be approximately, a really fancy one would be $160 for 100 of them. The very plain ones would be $87 for 100, and then something in between would be $117. So I don't know if you want to do something like that. The really fancy ones, like Michigan City Senior Center is giving away, those would be like $260 for 100.
Wow. Do we have samples of those?
I didn't say
Those are
request
these.
samples. They send you samples.
Oh, yeah, that's
Let's
true.
ask them for a
Yeah.
sample because that will help us decide.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be
I had
good.
one of the senior center pens last week. What all did it do? It had, oh, good.
Come sit here.
It had a
Just to
light
sit
on
closer
it.
to the camera.
Had a laser light or something on it. So if we could, maybe by next month, we should vote on a budget for it and see how much we can buy for what, if we want to spend $200 or if we want to
For promotional
stick to
materials.
50 or whatever.
Or we could have promotional giveaways, and then we could also have promotional for potential sales.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe a couple of things.
Yeah.
Not a lot,
Mhm.
but so it would be hard to
Yeah.
manage. But
Yeah.
the buttons might be kind of
A neat thing.
timely. We're starting out the year,
Mhm.
women's suffrage and things like that.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
then
good.
The other thing, and I'm glad Faye is here now because Faye and Nicole both offered to be on the essay and poster contest committee.
Mhm.
And, we can't conflict with the Human Rights Commission contests, and theirs are always in February. So I'm suggesting that we announce ours like the middle of March, and then have the entries due by the middle of April, and the a spring break for Michigan City Schools is from April 6th to 10th, I believe. So maybe a week later, they could be due, and then, a few weeks after that, we could hopefully have a ceremony in city council chambers or somewhere, an award ceremony. And we do need to figure out how much we're going to allow for the awards. That's a big thing. We can't do it now with no quorum, but that's one thing we need to figure out. If those dates sound okay,
Yeah, it's before all the testing and all that stuff starts, right? I mean, like after vacation, they have time to work on it if they're going to work on it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. They have time during the vacation if they want to, but I don't. But
So are you going to
Yeah.
have the rules pretty similar to the Human Rights Commission?
yes, but I've gotten rules from a lot of different places. The American Bar Association has a huge essay contest too for this
really?
on this subject, and they gave a lot of ideas for themes too for the essays.
Awesome.
I thought the posters for the kindergarten through sixth, I was thinking something like brave American women in history or something like that, so the children could do any, I think even kindergartners
Just hope they
could
don't do
figure
Wonder Woman.
something out.
Hmm.
Well, I guess nonfiction wouldn't work. Those words wouldn't fit in there, but
Actual historical.
Because we're
Yeah.
talking young kids, and to them, their
Yeah.
idols a lot of times are their
Yeah.
cartoon
I
characters.
do
Powerpuff
love-
Girls.
Well, we'll have to get more specific very specific
Wonder
about that.
Woman's
But the essays, some of them that the ABA is doing, obstacles to achieving women's right to vote, how did women's right to vote change American society, and then a lot of them about just the history of the suffrage movement and stuff. So if anybody has ideas, send them to me. We can talk about them at the next meeting, but also I was hoping we could have a short meeting of the essay and poster contest committee, and we can, agree on decide the rules for, the length of the essay and all those kinds of things. So I thought
think
we could do
the
that.
rubric, the judging is the hard part, I would say.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
But there's quite a few retired teachers that probably wouldn't mind.
All right, we got to tell what the rules are. And,
Right, right.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. All right, so I'm going to ask Esther to come talk about International Women's Day because we've been planning a month of activities. Esther has volunteered to help coordinate somewhat, and she can give us a little bit of an update on what is going on. Please, come sit.
Please, I'm sorry I took this chair. But I had an accident. That's what took why I'm late.
Oh,
with-
no.
It wasn't not an accident. An accident with food.
Oh. Still tragic, but
So
not
it's
that
all
bad.
on me
Yeah.
and
Of course, we go to like car accident right away.
No,
Okay,
I know.
good.
That's why I hurried up and said food.
Food mishap, all right.
So first, before I start on suffrage, I want to thank the commission for sponsoring the Jazz Fest. It was so wonderful, and we
That's
appreciate your support tremendously for this first time event, and we're already planning next year having 2 large ones and 10 small ones, so one every month, and because it was really successful and beyond our, I mean, of course it was our hopes, but it went beyond even, so thank you so much for taking a chance. And so with International Women's Month, maybe Bonnie again can speak about the tributes, because we were hoping on that March 8th to have tributes as part of the program. So did you want to?
Do you want me to
Yeah.
talk about that? Well, I was hoping that that each commissioner would be willing to give a tribute or even write a tribute to a famous woman in history, nonfiction person, and we could either like read those at that. But I was also thinking, because that's not very many people, there are only like 9 of us or 10 of us, and I was also thinking maybe we could make a program and write all of these in a program and have a program to hand out to everybody at that first one on the 8th with tributes in it. But there are a lot of, there are some League of Women Voter organizations south of here, like in Terre Haute, that have compiled little blurbs about, A through Z of, 26 women in Hoosier suffragist women and stuff. So there are a lot of women that we could give a tribute to, and we could either limit it to suffrage people, suffragists, or we could just say, women in history. I idolize Jane Addams. I would love to.
Dress as your favorite suffragist.
Yeah. But so, what do you think about the tributes? Should we do something? But I think at least at that first one, we should at least talk about something. We should, somebody should.
Can we include the public as we're doing the publicity, saying bring a tribute if you want, and then they have the option to also contribute in that way as the tributes
We
are?
could, except that I think that could run into a lot of time, potentially, if there are a lot of people.
I just
Well,
don't know.
we can set a time, like we'll have this much time to do it, and whoever we fit in,
Yeah.
maybe,
Mhm.
and maybe they
Mhm.
can contribute them, and we can do some sort of flyer afterwards with these tributes.
You're
or-
thinking that the general public will hear this and jump on it and write something and turn it into you, like too many?
I
Like
think,
I'm
well,
thinking a few might, but I don't
a few,
know.
right?
I don't
A
think
few
it's
might,
going to
I think.
be
Yeah.
a 4-hour program of people.
And we can personally invite.
rushing to
We
there.
can I mean, we all
Yes,
we all
we
do
would encourage
personal
people to
invites,
do it,
and we
yes.
can.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
And then coupled with that, I've put a message out to Sistrum, which is a choir out of Lansing, Michigan, that does protest songs. They do the old ones, they do current ones, and I've also I've reached out to some musicians to see who is writing protest songs currently, because it would be kind of interesting to hear the old protest songs throughout the decades, but also to hear our current Joan Baez's and people like that. So there's like one woman I've reached out to. Everybody takes a really long time getting back, though, but luckily we have a few months to pull that together. But do you like that idea of the protest songs before I mean, I've heard the choir out of, I don't think we'll get the whole choir because it's gigantic, but it would be nice if like they could send a band full of choir members to come and sing. Deb Chubb is the one that pointed me in their direction. So on the 15th, we're formulating the idea of a panel discussion including high school young women, and would love input on what you think that panel might be. But Amy Sumter and her producer have, they went to a summit in September and they talked about how comedy helps depression. So we might be able to build something along those lines. But I would really, really want to include high school girls, or young women, rather, because one, they're independent too, so they don't need, like if we went younger, they'd have to be reliant on their families to bring them, and this could be a choice that they could come on their own really as well, and tapping into, because there's a lot of women involved in school politics as well, so I don't think it'll be hard to find a few women who want to join a panel discussion.
The youth commission would be a good contact for the. There's a few girls on there, right?
Yeah, I know. At least one I know is definitely political.
Well, the one that we have on there, I think she'd be willing to talk.
Oh, yeah. Alexis.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the protest songs. Were you saying that's the 8th?
The 8th. That would
we
be
were
with the
going to have
tributes.
the tributes on the 8th.
Both.
So that seems like, is that
I think that's I think they'll both-
coordinating?
yeah, I think those two pair really well together. But we can, as we figure out more time, we can see if that works out. I mean, I don't think the choir would want to sing for an hour. I mean, you know, weren't we? We were thinking from like 2 to 4, right? Or 2 to 5 for that first one, maybe. Because
mean,
the
part
first
of-
one, they. How long was the first one? Do you remember? It was like 3+ hours, wasn't it?
It was like open house,
And
and
it
it was
went-
a big
it
chunk
went-
of time.
Yeah.
Like maybe
And it
2
didn't
to
feel-
7 or something like that. I mean, it was
long.
like a long time.
It was a long one. It went by fast,
But that was
though.
because we were going to do an open house type.
Oh, we had some entertainment too. We had some,
Music
and
and
then the also
comic,
the
the
comedy.
storytellers,
Yeah.
right, and the comedians, yeah. I like this time spreading it out over multiple
Like,
weekends.
maybe you could use Nicole as a resource for the depression too, because you know she is a school social worker, and so
Most definitely. And then on the 22nd, Laura Scruggs has developed a program. Laura is a documentary filmmaker and a storyteller, and she produces several programs in Chicago, and she's
22nd.
I
Sorry.
said Laura Strauss.
Scruggs,
Scruggs.
SCRUGGS.
SGR.
SCRU.
Oh, CR.
Sorry, I'm congested. And she's talked to and has booked tentatively, of course, storyteller Ada Chang, who is a professor turned storyteller, and she was one of the keynote speakers at the Women and Girls in Georgia conference, and she produces and hosts 4 storytelling shows, one of them being an Asian American, Asian diaspora storytelling show. She produces Speaking Truths series, and she creates platforms for people to tell difficult and vulnerable stories, as well as spaces for people and communities who may not have opportunities otherwise. She works in education and outreach. She's a specialist with Women's Leadership and Resource Center at the UIC, and it goes on and on about her advocacy. So she's going to be doing 30 minutes of storytelling. There's poet Lisa Marie Farver. She is going to have about 15 minutes, and our MC will be Laura Scruggs, and she has a story that is about 30 minutes, and she's put out some feelers for a couple musicians to fill out the rest of her program.
So how many hours?
That's probably a couple hours, you know, because they'll be taking breaks in between, I think, and people can, you know.
and this is on a Sunday now.
This is Sunday the 22nd. And then on the 29th, we're talking about movies and documentaries. We're looking into public domain. Bonnie's husband, Dan, is helping with that. So, you know, it'll be fabulous.
Hi.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So we're thinking light refreshments.
What?
Ooh.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Fine. No, it's okay.
Good thing.
It's a very subtle entrance.
That was quite an entrance, wasn't
Yes,
it?
memorable.
Did you note that I was late?
Hi, Joanne. So we're thinking light refreshments. We're going to be applying for the block party grant from Michigan City Main Street Association, and that would help with $1,000 of it, which that grant is specifically for the entertainment and the food and things related to the food, like the paper goods that go with it. So that should cover a nice portion of it. I'm going to see if I can apply for it before the year's out, but if not, I'll make sure I apply for it January 1st so that because there's only 4 of those available a year.
Yeah.
Is there still one available for this year?
No,
Oh, this year's
You know.
this year's done.
You'd have to do the event this year, so.
Right.
Right.
But I'm going to ask if I can apply for it this year for next year so that
Okay.
we get our date in.
All right, that's good.
And that's it. We really haven't talked about the food too much, except it'll be complimentary to whatever's, like movies, we'll have popcorn and movie kind of snacks, and we'll tailor it to what we're doing.
So,
And can we produce any of those? You know, I bet we can produce some of those buttons too ourselves, or some of the. I would love to see
Those
some
buttons?
images. Yeah.
well, if they're copyright, like copies of an old thing, maybe, I don't know if we can, maybe they're public domain, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have to check.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I think buttons would be nice.
I know. I was talking to Dahlia about what brought suffrage to my mind was, of course, that Mary Poppins movie. I mean, I was really young when it first came out, and I just remember. I mean, that's what brought it to my mind. So I'm looking forward to finding movies that maybe will inspire other people. I mean, I really am hoping that we get that high school contingent to come to all of these events. So we'll have to market to them as well.
I wasn't sure, though, what you were intending on the 15th. What would, like, the overall subject be?
Right. See, well, we had the 15th, but just this morning, half of the team canceled out. So I had to today kind of rethink it, and that's where the panel discussion. So I haven't quite formulated that, and all ideas are most welcome as to what you would like to discuss and what you would like to maybe bring to the forefront, because that is like open. That could be an open topic. And then I thought, when Amy then wrote to me when she said, well, sorry, Kelsey can't do it, and I said, well, what about you? Because she, I've seen her solo performances, and that's when she wrote, and she said she and her producer went to the summit a few months ago and talked about how comedy helps depression, and that went, oh wow, that seems to be a good starting point.
So what is your email address?
I'm
During
the
National
Nest,
During
Michigan
Business
City,
Month in
all spelled
March,
out,
We're going to have an event every Sunday afternoon.
at gmail.com.
Oh, wonderful. The first one is going
At-
to be
at
protest
Gmail.
songs,
Gmail.com.
and we're going to give tributes to women.
Sounds
wonderful. Talk about it. Yeah. And that's what she's talking about.
Okay, yeah, so to recap, we're talking about like ideas for the whole Women's Equality Month and suffrage related. And so what are your thoughts about a budget for this? I mean, assuming we're gonna apply for a Main Street grant, and I hope we get it, but that would be $1,000 towards food and entertainment and paper goods. And then we probably need more money for entertainment. And are we gonna have another gallery again of women's art?
Yeah,
Not
it
sure,
will
or-
probably, yes, but not like we did the last time, because the exhibit I have up now, I'm not really sure when,
Okay.
yeah.
Plans.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so how do we set an idea for the budget for the International Women's Month, basically? What are your thoughts, or?
Oh, you know what, I can do the back of the gallery with women's art. I can
Well, I
certainly
mean,
take
it doesn't
all of
have to be that
It's
necessarily. We did
already
it last year.
women's art, but.
We did it last year, so that's,
I was thinking on easels is what I was thinking of. if I don't have the wall space to
And it
hang.
doesn't
But I
have to be
have
that
that
much, yeah.
Yeah, I do have that whole back, and actually that whole back is, if I'm thinking about it, there's maybe only one male artist on there. It's all women, which I discovered last year when I was putting this together, that I had a majority of, not by any purposeful design, but it's mostly women artists.
So is each committee trying to do something for women's suffrage, or just the Bonnie and
What other committees would you, what other committees are you talking about?
like Deb's committee and the Green committee and education?
Oh, other commissions?
No, of our committees.
Oh,
Each
you're looking
committee.
at our sustainability. So you're looking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Sorry.
And then also Renee Miles Foster, who is
See,
part
I'm
of
on
the
too
Jazz
many- I'm
Fest,
on
wants
too
to
many
help with
commissions.
this.
Totally understand that.
So Renee put together like the like a Black History Museum, and she wants to be part of helping plan this too. I haven't been able to talk to her about what she wants to
Maybe
add.
she
but
could do
she
the
would be-
15th.
Yeah,
Although maybe
that's
that
what I
could
was
be
kind
her
of hoping
day.
she would.
What's her name?
Renee Miles Foster.
She was like
She was
organized the
singing.
Jazz Fest.
She was the singer. Did you?
Oh.
Were you? Yeah.
When do we need a budget? By what date?
I don't know.
That's
because
We should have one.
we should decide kind of now so that we can kind of use it to build. But I think it does depend if we're going to get that grant, that $1,000 grant for Main
Well,
Street.
when do we have to get something in for the grant? All right, let me try and back up that way. to
No,
look at it.
I don't think there's a deadline because it's for next year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You know,
So
the
we'll just-
grant, I can fill that out very easily, but it'll have to be the Women's Commission. It's not, I'm not asking for the grant. The Women's Commission is asking for the grant,
Right.
but using my place as the venue kind of thing, like we did last year. Yeah.
And
We got $500, I think, last year from Main Street.
that's my recollection as well. But again, I'm trying to decide when, if we have to make a decision tonight. I guess we look at last year's funding and use that as.
We're doing 3 times as many events, though, as we did last year.
Okay, and is there anything limited by that grant? Is there something that's not covered by that grant?
Yes,
Like
alcohol is not covered,
Okay.
but food is covered.
Food is covered,
Yes,
okay.
and beverages are covered, but they have to be non-alcoholic.
Okay.
Well, you weren't even thinking of having alcohol, were we?
No,
No.
I don't
So
think there's any
that's-
reason for
But
it.
our mock
but-
cocktails last year were very popular.
And they were
so-
expensive
They
too.
were very expensive.
Were they
Yeah.
expensive? Oh, I
Yeah,
wasn't
they
part
were-
of that,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we'll.
So we could probably, go cheaper on that. But that's that's how I approach budgets.
Yeah, we
You know,
were
what can
actually going to go lighter on the food this year than we, or like
I- uh-huh.
except maybe a little nicer for the 8th for the tributes and stuff. We
For
were
the
for the
first
open
one.
for the first one,
Mhm.
yeah.
Like the opening, the kickoff of the event.
Right.
Was the food consumed? Was there anything?
It was. The food was completely consumed. Yeah.
So, but we could still cut back, yeah.
All the samosas were gone. I think there were just a
Mhm.
few falafels left. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it depends on what we say beforehand, light refreshments or something, or, just, because sometimes people.
Well, I don't know if Renee Miles Foster is involved. I think it's going to be opulent, but.
All right, well, again, since we're doing more than last year, maybe looking at it that way, how much more are we doing? How much more money do we need?
And I have to say, I have not gotten a single. I have no idea what the performers will be looking for. I'm sure the choir has a standard that they'll ask for, and I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting
that
for
certainly
replies.
will be helpful to find out, absolutely.
Me too.
So-
I ask
so-
all the time.
So can we do that tonight? Is that
I
possible?
feel like it's hard to create a budget when you don't have any
Any line items, yeah.
any idea of a price range.
Mm-hmm.
That's my mission for this month, is to pin them down. Artists, as you know, yeah.
Yes, I understand, yeah.
Especially
Well-
because they want to do this from their heart too, but they also have expenses coming here. So I think they want to
do
balance.
it?
Well,
everything.
you know, that's one way to look at it, that we have to find out what people are anticipating and then create a budget around that. Or we say what's realistic, what can we possibly start with, and then have to make do, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, if we came up with, if we had an idea for how much we could spend on it for the whole month, and then that might help you too in negotiating
Right,
with
whether
them.
they want $50 a person or
Yeah.
$75 a person, and
Mhm.
the MC would need to get a little more because she's put it all together, and
Yeah.
they have their, their traveling expenses. So I was
Does
thinking
anyone have any of last year's budget? I know that it was only one day last year, but it might give us
That's
a really
what-
good
that's what I was
idea.
saying.
So we're gonna double everything, it's two, well, it's
That's
more,
simple.
how
It's
many?
like 4 times.
There's
what
4
we're doing.
times, so we could do 4 times, yeah.
I don't know if I have it
Unless,
with me.
unless we think that's too much, and then just say we're not going to do.
And some of it and I don't know what some of it we have left over from last year. Like we have the totems that Vida and Dahlia did, and the games that were already purchased. So that's already, we
Yeah,
already
but
have
those
that.
were not in the budget.
Yeah.
Those weren't in the budget, so you just did that?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Well,
So-
the event on the 15th, the panel discussion, that probably would not have any
No.
Yeah,
any
probably just
expense
one.
really
No.
at all. And on the 29th, the documentaries or the films in the public domain, hopefully.
Right,
we
I'm
can
hoping
find
that one
some-
is, yes.
Yeah, so that should not,
Or that will have
Cost
minimal
much.
charges for
Yeah.
movie rights, I think. But Amy Sumter and her producer, if they come and do the talk on comedy and depression, how comedy helps depression, that might have a small fee attached to it. Like maybe, maybe think that in the $100 range, possibly.
so that plus the choir, those
Will
would
there
be
be any
the,
comedians attached to her?
Yeah, I'm hoping Amy does a solo routine after that, because that would be a good follow-up to it,
Yeah.
I think. And she's really good. She was one of the comedians we had when we first opened the gallery, like 4 years ago. So hopefully, hopefully in the next few weeks, I can, after the holidays, pin down a price range from some of these people. Laura's been talking to everybody, but maybe if I personally reach out to Lisa and Ada, I can get a better idea of what they charge when they do this. And then I'll call Dan and we'll,
yeah.
we really are going to try to look for public domain movies, so we don't have to worry
And
about
the Library of Congress has a lot of, I don't know how they're available, but they might be available through the library here. But they have a lot of the original,
And then I found something, it wasn't an unreasonable fee to have rights for the day for movies.
Mhm.
So I'm just leafing through, and I'm sorry, I cannot go through all the finances
Yeah.
right now on this meeting. I saw approximately $1,000, plus in addition, we had the 500 from Main Street.
So approximately 15.
I think so. I think the whole thing cost approximately 1,500. Plus a whole bunch of people did donate things, but I'm not sure. Like I say, I leafed through it. I can't really spend time now looking through every past treasurer's report right now. But maybe the end of the year has one. But so, what are your thoughts? Or
My thought is that if we could possibly put this off, and a small group work on it before our next meeting, could possibly put it off to our next meeting, I think we'd have a lot more answers.
Yeah.
Be a lot easier.
Yeah.
If that's possible, again, I'm not sure.
I would agree.
Yeah, this was just an update anyway, because I don't have any,
Right,
just
this
to
was
say
not
that
supposed to be
it's
a
still,
budgetary
like the 22nd, except for the musician, that's, the people are solid on that. They've booked that in their calendar, the 22nd. And it looks like Amy is available for the 15th, hopefully with what she spoke about. I'll write to her after I get back tonight. And then we'll need a small budget probably and that, it's possible that can come out of the Main Street funds as well, but some Facebook ads and things like that. I know the boosting doesn't help very much, but the ads do. And then, of course, all the usual suspects. The Beecher will put it in that paper, and the News Dispatch
The
always
press
covers
release, yeah.
everything. And we've had a lot of, like, the Northwest Indiana Times also has been featuring a lot of the things that we do, so it'll be no problem to have a further reach.
Well, yeah, I just asked her here to kind of update you on what's kind of tentatively being planned.
Mhm.
Really sounds exciting, you know, it's hard to
Absolutely.
pin down, but we'll try to pin down a budget for
by-
next month.
For next
yeah.
month, most definitely, because it's already then getting close to the event, so.
Are there people willing to work on this, on a special committee for this?
And that committee would start work when? Right away?
After the holidays?
Yeah, like early January, we'll have to have a meeting and just talk about this.
Mhm.
And suffrage also, like kind of the yearly plan for both
What
events.
colors you want, what kind of, you know, because all the paper goods.
Merchandising, so we
yeah.
might want to have a meeting and then come back to the bigger group, whatever
Mhm.
that means,
Mhm.
in January. So, do you want to set a date for that right now?
When to come back?
No, whenever
to
the
do
Jan,
that.
like, our next
Sub-
meeting is
subcommittee.
16th.
Right.
So, the subcommittee meeting. Let's take a look at the January calendar. So what are your thoughts? I'm thinking that work week of the 6th sometime, you know. When is evenings better for everybody, or daytime okay for people? What about you?
I'll be gone the week of the 6th,
Oh, you'll be
so
gone.
I will be
All right.
not able to.
I cannot make a commitment to this time.
Okay.
I will take my response.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
So
daytime is good for me.
So Faye and Bonnie and myself, if we meet, would that be okay? And if Joanne can make it,
I
she'll
would
definitely
be
come.
delighted if I could make it.
Which,
All right.
which day were you thinking?
Not the 9th. My Thursdays are just not
Okay.
good. So
And
look, you-
How do you have so much?
I teach on Mondays and Tuesdays from 3:30 until 5.
mhm.
But other than that, I'm open all during the day, and then Wednesday
like-
and Thursday is good.
All right. So Tuesday, say at 10 o'clock. Faye, does that sound okay to you?
Not Tuesday?
Monday, 10 o'clock.
That's great.
Monday the 6th at 10 o'clock.
That's great.
Does that sound good to you, Bonnie?
Yes. that
Okay,
would
10
work.
o'clock.
Will that be here? You'll arrange that?
I think
for
we're
the-
probably gonna meet. Do you
Do it
want to
at the
meet
Nest?
at the Nest? Just
We'll have to put a notice, though.
I will
in-
do a notice.
About that, yeah. I mean, we'll have to open door notice.
Can't we just announce it now?
We are announcing it now.
No, I meant
Public notice.
You know what I meant.
So 10 a.m. at the Nest.
And can that also be sort of the essay contest meeting too?
Oh, yeah.
Except that you won't be there, but
I can type a response. I'm good at typing emails.
Well, we just
So-
call it a special meeting,
Yeah.
a special
Why not?
planning meeting, or what do you want to call
yeah, actually, you need to be at that one. We could, or we could talk about the you know, how long the essay is going to be, those kinds of rules, and then
Yeah.
email it to you and let you know so that you could input.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Do you want to
So
do
do you-
that, or would you rather that we wait until
I
you can
can-
meet with us?
I can write my responses to what you guys discussed.
Right. Plus, Bonnie, you said you had like about 3 different. Or
I have a
more.
lot of, yeah, I have a lot
More.
of.
Can you narrow them down to 3?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I will.
And if you can bring them with you, and then we can combine them
Yeah.
or
Yes.
choose one.
So Women's Commission special planning meeting will be on the 6th at 10 a.m. at the Nest. Okay, now we'll get public notice out there as well.
So on your committees, are only board members allowed to be on the committees, or do other people join in on committees?
We don't really have that many committees here. We typically,
We don't.
yeah,
No, we don't have standing committees.
not really organized
So
that way.
other people
No.
could be on it.
Yes,
We take
I
all
might
the,
be interested in the essays, but
yes, oh, definitely.
we
Well,
take all the help we can get.
And posters.
and just with those, like
Posters,
with the
too.
yes, because
Yeah.
with the kindergartners, what we would do when we would do kindergarten posters, we'd give them a choice of which person to do, and then they would choose
Oh.
which one they wanted to
Oh,
do. Like
good
give
idea.
them
Yeah.
5 choices maybe, and a little
Yeah.
background on each of
Mhm.
the people that we wanted them to do. I mean, they all chose Michelle Obama, I
Mhm.
think,
Cuts
pretty
it
much,
down,
but.
cuts it
Yeah.
well, what if you had a
Yeah.
card and then they pick it, and then
Excellent.
once someone picks it, then the other people have to do somebody else, you know?
Well, that's true. That would get variety, but they have their own unique style. Each of the children, anyway.
Of course. All right.
And every kid
Yeah, you're
wants what the
definitely
other kid has
our
anyways.
non-member on the committee, so we're just saying that we don't have any kind of rules like that. So you could please, anyone that can help us helps us.
Yes.
Because we do the poetry, and we're into, I think, the 3rd or 4th year of running the poetry contest through the Nest. So
All right, terrific. So we have a lot of things planned. You know, March is going to be
pop it.
Busy.
really interesting and fun. I think I'm going to get a little calendar up because we, like, just on my notes here, it's
Only
really
like
like
a
stuff.
nanny for the month of March.
Yeah,
I'll need my own Mary Poppins for the month.
yeah, she'll need her
I know.
nanny. She'll need Mary Poppins. Exactly.
Okay,
Okay,
plenty
so-
of choice. She can come play.
She's getting better. She'll
Okay.
be much better. But
Thank you very much for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank you.
All right, so that brings to the commission appointments. So, so we have at least one open, we have 2 open spots. So Kay recommended somebody, and for 2 city council meetings, I watched to see if anybody submitted anything, and they didn't. I talked to the clerks, they said they don't think anyone submitted it. So we need to get more proactive in finding, like, there's like a council appointment, and there's also a non-for-profit mayor's appointment.
Right, no, I looked at those categories. I have been making calls.
Okay,
without,
thank you.
Without too much success.
Yes, because like I say, I don't know like how long we wait or.
So what was Kay's appointment? She was not for profit, wasn't she?
She was counsel.
Oh, she was council appointment.
I
Okay.
think her term
But
expired.
still, we have those other categories, within our.
Okay.
Oh.
My
So
girl
we have
is
to look at those as
still.
well.
She had to go pick up her fiance today. Her name is Cynthia Brown. She doesn't do Facebook, and
Good for her. I already like her.
And she had to go pick up her fiance from the hospital, so she couldn't make it today. So, but she is interested, and now that we're televised,
or is it going to be like a?
it would be NAACP appointment, because that's what happened. Kay and I switched, and so
Correct.
I'm the
And-
NAACP appointment.
And we could do more.
So it'd be
searches if we
somebody
have to.
from the NAACP,
Yeah.
and if she doesn't take it, I probably would stay another term. It's only 1 year, right?
At a time.
No, is it 1 year?
No, it's not.
don't have
No,
it.
it's not really. No,
You're
our
full of
appointments,
jokes.
I was up to 4 years. That's
4
why I'm on
years.
until 22.
I can't remember what mine's. I can't
Yeah.
remember what it is.
Yeah. No, it's if you look at it, it's really quite simple. It's 4 years. Just count on 4 years.
So I would come in tomorrow and get the papers and make sure that she gets them filled out, so that we can probably get on the agenda.
And Sean, any help you can give us? I mean, we're just trying to drum up interest and.
Yeah, and I think the application is downloadable online.
Yes.
On
It
the
is.
city's website, so
It
anyone
is.
interested could go on there and get the application and turn it into the clerk's office. So.
I don't know if that's the roadblock. We're just trying to find people that want to serve or even
And
know
want to.
about us, which really.
And have a category, fit into a category.
Fit into the
Right, so we
category.
need to definitely know which categories are
Yeah.
need to be
It's-
filled.
So
And those are clear
council-
too on the website.
They're clear on the website.
Uh-huh.
But the the girl Cynthia Brown, that's Trayvon's mother.
Okay. Okay.
So she's interested. So.
I'm trying to think. Is Albertine Allen still coming in?
Yes, she said that she will still be on. Well, she didn't tell me she wasn't going to be here today, but yes.
Did she call?
So we're losing Kay?
She didn't call or send an email.
Yeah, but Kay seems to think she has a
Yeah.
person.
Thank
Have
you,
a beautiful
Esther.
holiday,
Yes,
everyone.
thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Esther
I'm sorry I
Holmes.
was late, Esther.
Kristen.
So yeah, so I don't know. Like I say, well, okay. So everyone do their best to encourage people either to do the council appointment, and is a nonprofit the mayor's appointment, correct?
Yes, yes, there's a
Hmm.
nonprofit. But again, some are flexible enough where we can do some things with them. It depends on who we ask.
All right.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Well,
trying to.
My concern is once we start the next year, if we're
Will-
down
will
to
we
very,
have will we have a quorum?
we don't have a quorum, we don't have a secretary right now. I just realized that halfway through the meeting, we don't have a secretary right now taking
I've
notes.
been writing them.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
You
I have some
write
notes
them
too,
up.
so we'll just kind of outline it because, yeah,
So if not, you guys can go back and watch the video and
Right.
make your minutes.
I'm like
That's what
that.
we wanna do.
Who's that guy from Star Wars that cannot watch themselves on TV? That's me. Like I don't watch myself. Anyway, all right, we could do that, I guess. All right, so new business. I don't know. We don't seem to have any new business except I'm concerned about the council appointments. I mean, the commission appointments, and I think that's about it. I know Charlene's staying, and that's fine. But again, Christina needs to be replaced, and then Kay. So that would be
Yeah,
important.
and I think sometimes we get a little confused because we look at positions rather than the overall.
Makeup of
the board. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we do that first, and then we have the elections as to who's going to serve in what capacity. Yeah, it's important just to get people committed to the commission.
All right, so like as for new business also, I'm not sure this is new business or not, but also after the, this grant writing thing, we're supposed to have people report back. And I think I'm going to ask Charlene when she gets back to give me a list of everyone who we got money from, and then ask them, even if it's 2 or 3 sentences, and I would love a photograph of their event.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to need to put together a report for the city council about what we spent our money on. It would be much more interesting to have some pictures and
Right.
some
Certainly.
comments from people who attended the events and were there.
And especially the girl that went to that math.
Oh yeah, that math competition, remember her? Yeah.
Yes,
They need to
yes.
follow up, so they need to send us, I don't care if it's, 2 sentences would be great. I had a great time, here's me with my math tutor or whatever it was, so yeah. So we definitely need to do that. Maybe possibly, and I don't want to put this on Shar, but when she sends, money for the check or whatever, just say, don't forget you need to fill out our
Maybe part of the
Summary.
application process. Let them know that 30 days after the event, we'd like to have this or something.
Well,
Put a time frame on it so it's not so open-ended. So
Yeah, that's a good idea. And
It
also,
is.
we have no stick to do it because they already got their money and did their thing. So in other words, So in other words, time limit is nice, but I think we just need to gently remind that. And 2 or 3 sentences are fine. They don't have to write me, 10-page summary or anything. Just a few sentences on how they liked it, and then some pictures would be nice because these days it's not hard to have your cell phone take a couple
No.
pictures and then send it to me, and then so I could put something together to say, here's what happened with this money, here's what we did here, etc. All the things that we funded.
If there are people missing, maybe some of us could contact, I think, because we were involved with.
Some of the projects.
Yes, I'd be glad to do that. I could contact Barker's school for sure.
So that was kind of my thought along with this rubric, which you missed again, Joanne, sorry. I'll catch you up on that little rubric
Well,
thing.
no, it's. I don't think I'd have any trouble with that.
Well, we kind of cleaned it up a little bit because we used
Uh-huh.
it once and then there was a little bit of questions, so we
Okay.
had some discussion today. We don't have
Was
any
I
more
that
public.
late?
Yeah, we went through quite a bit. But we have no more public here, so Sean, do you have any comments?
the only thing I had was about the appointment from the council. So we kind of covered that already. So
Well, funny, at the council meeting, they brought up, there's a commission, but they didn't say, like, you know how usually they say, did we get any applications? He didn't do that part, he just skipped over to the next thing. So, like, I went up to the clerks afterwards and I asked them, did you guys get anything? She goes, we don't think so, we'll double check and whatever.
Usually
But
when we get one, we'll,
Yeah,
they
you
forward
know.
it to us so we see it
Yeah.
prior to the meeting, so. But other than that, nothing else, just want to say it's been a pleasure working with you ladies all year. In case I'm not your liaison next year, I had a great time.
Oh, you don't know if you will?
No,
or
they
not?
don't.
No,
Interesting.
Get reassigned
whoever
or
the president is will
They
assign
make
the
assignments.
commission liaisons and stuff.
Oh.
So it could be me, it may not be. So.
But you can request it.
Yeah, I can request it.
I was gonna
And
say.
we'll
Just putting
have,
you on the
Just a
spot.
reminder.
we'll have 2 new ladies on the
Right,
the council,
right.
so
Yeah.
one of them may be interested. In,
Right.
Nice.
I'll
Yeah,
send you
Tracy
guys
probably will be.
Good recommendation, 'cause, like, you're a great group to work with. But just it's been a pleasure, and if it's not me next year, I may pop in on you guys sometime. And happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas,
Thank you.
whatever you
Thank you.
celebrate.
Wow.
Thank
And you
you.
guys get sworn in
Same
On
to you.
the 28th,
December the 28th?
28th at 4 p.m. here at the council chambers
council chambers downstairs.
downstairs.
Well, thank you for
Thank you.
for participating and getting, I guess we're getting paid next year. if we ever get
You
our-
guys are gonna
Thanks.
have to
Our thing
get,
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are all gonna have to go into the clerk's office and fill out your paperwork too.
Okay.
Oh, we go to the clerk's
think
office
so.
to fill that out?
I've done that already. I was
If they don't have it for you, like my social security and all that
never
stuff,
been
numbers.
You did that
hey.
already?
No.
No, I,
Me
Yeah, so
neither.
you guys get
Excuse me,
financial stuff.
question.
that-
So we go to
that-
the clerk's
I had to sign
office
an oath again.
to fill out for
I was just
payroll, or we go
Right,
to
right, yeah,
the,
but I was reappointed.
I would say the
Here
clerk's
we go.
office is a good start, and then if not, then
they'll tell us where to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Gil. I always put stuff on Gil.
I know.
Gil's like the
Everybody
hub of
does,
the
everybody
city.
does.
Oh,
People
yeah.
don't realize how much
It
stuff
definitely
goes
is.
there,
Oh, yeah, absolutely, amazing, yeah. And the other thing is, as soon as you call that office, you get a response.
Mhm.
Yes.
And you get the answer.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Any other commissioners have any comments?
I do, yes. You know, this is an exciting year, and I apologize again for being late. I honestly had 5:30 down for some reason. That's why I was so late. But I know we're all very excited about the coming year. There are a lot of things going on, and we'll all be working in our various areas. The exciting thing that I feel is that the organization that I represent, the League of Women Voters, was really the first one going. And it was prior to the 19th Amendment, which is really exciting. Those incredible women saw what was coming, and they knew that we had to do things differently and be prepared. And so back in February, so prior to, in fact, it's February the 14th, and I was amazed that I wasn't more cognizant of the date. I've been involved with the league for over 45 years.
Wow.
And yet the 14th Valentine's Day didn't mean that much to me, except that it was Valentine's Day and one of my sons was born on Valentine's Day. That was the importance of it. But it's really amazing that they worked so hard so early, saw things coming and were prepared. And I think the reason that we haven't, in the league, regardless of what league I was in, not just here in this county, but in New Jersey and elsewhere, we didn't celebrate that much. I think we were so focused on the bigger picture, on what women were doing in general, and reaching out to other groups. And I think it says a lot about the women of the league at that time. Now, of course, it's women and men of the league. And so we're celebrating 100 years. February 14th. We haven't quite decided what we're doing yet, but we feel pretty good about being 100 years old, or having the league 100 years old. And we'll be there next year. Our particular league, which was League of Women Voters of Michigan City originally, will be 100 years old next year.
Yeah, I do believe it. That's great.
So that's my piece.
Thank you. Do you have any other anyone else with a comment? Well, okay. All right, thank you. And with that, anyone want to move to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All right, consider this meeting adjourned. Next meeting, January 16th, 2020.
At 5:30.